Good evening. Happy Stampers. How is everybody this evening? Welcome to Tools and Techniques Thursday. So tonight we are going to be using some products out of the January to June mini catalog, and we're going to have a lot of fun. You know, many of us have what we're using is stencils. And many of us have stencils at home, so you could actually possibly do this technique I'm showing you tonight with the stencils that you have at home. So I'd like to say hello to everybody watching me on Facebook. Say hi, give me the thumbs up, give me hearts if you're loving what I'm showing you tonight. And if you're watching on YouTube, please say hello there also, and be sure to subscribe, hit the bell so that you receive notifications every time I come on and go live. So I am still traveling, so when I flip my camera around, you might get a little bit sick again, but it'll be short and quick, I promise. So let me get everything situated, and we're going to flip you around. And yeah, I know. And I'm going to try to get you down low enough. That's as low as I can. That's as low as we go. Oh, so like I said, I'm using a couple products. We're going to be using the stamp set, Easter Friends, and that is found on page, oh, I'm sorry, I believe 57. I just turned the page. No. Oh my gosh, I will tell you in just a second. I just flipped my page. Must be 47. I know it's, no. Oh dear. It's on 27, sorry about that, of the January to June mini catalog. But what we're going to be using is these butterflies and flowers layering stencils tonight. Now this is showing sideways. This is interesting. When I just did it a minute ago, it was right way. So let me change my camera, and that's showing it the correct way. So I am going to be doing it over my camera again tonight. But this is found on page 65, and you get 6 stencils with this, and several of them you layer on top of one another. So I'll be showing you that tonight. So this is how they come. They come in a little packet. Oops, and just a second here. And let's take them out and take a look at them. I was so excited to get these. So I'm showing you a technique. So this is one of the stencils, and these are flowers. And I start with this one first, and then I add this one over the top, and we're using this one tonight. Here's the butterfly, same thing. This is your base stencil. This goes on top. This flower here coordinates with this stencil, which is a bunch of flowers and leaves. And as you can see, if we put this stencil, you do this big image first, kind of like two-step stamping, the biggest image first, and then you layer this on top. Now, on this stencil, you'll find these, and I thought, you know what? You can layer that one on top too and get that. You can layer it on this one. You could do this one in the center there. So as you can see, you can make an assortment of flowers. So you get 3 that are layering stencils, and then you get 3 that are base stencils. And this one is daisies, just flowers and dots all over. We're going to be using this one tonight. This is kind of like a lacy, half doily. And then this one looks like leaves going up and down. So we are going to be using a couple of these this evening. Like I said, Easter Friends, I brought very limited stamp sets with me tonight. So we're going to be using the words, my friend, from that to create our card. I have a Coastal Cabana card base, and it measures 5.5 by 8.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. And then I have some basic white cardstock. This one measures 1/2 inch by, I believe, 2 1/4. And then we have some basic black that measures just about 1/4 inch more. So it's 2 3/4 by 3/4 inches. And then I have some basic white. This piece, I didn't measure it. It's got to be, since I cut a 4-inch by 5 1/4 in half, so it is 2 inches by almost 2 and, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 inches long by 1, 2, and 4 5/8 wide. And this is just a 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to start with this one, and we are going to start with this stencil. Basic stenciling. Now, we are also using Mango Melody, Coastal Cabana, Gorgeous Grape, and Polished Pink ink. We're using our blender brushes, our blending brushes with these tonight. You can use your markers, you can use the spritzers, you can use the our soft pastels with this. I am going to be showing you some other techniques with these stencils on another video. So I am using this one, and I just want to make a soft background. So I'm going to line this up, and I am actually need to make it so it's straight. I'm looking over, so this looks pretty straight. I'm going to line this top one up to just the top. Now you don't want to line this edge up because you'd have a white line around this. So we're going to go ahead and stencil this. Now we have a choice. We can stencil it solid. We could stencil different colors. But for this one tonight, I'm just going to stencil a solid color. So I'm going to take my Coastal Cabana, and we are going to ink up our brush like this. And then we're just going to rub it. I'm so sorry, I am off camera. I'm going to rub it in the lid like this. So I'm inking it up here, and then I'm spreading the ink a little bit. So we're going to hold it down, and we're just going to lightly brush over the top. Now, depending on how dark of color you're going to want is how hard you're going to press on your blending brush and how much ink you're going to put on. Now, I do this in layers. I've showed you guys some stenciling before. I do this in layers so that I don't get too dark at one time. And I'm just rubbing back and forth, back and forth. I just want to show you guys how to do this. I've already got another one prepared, but it's not solid. It is actually rainbow colors. And stay tuned, because as we're making this, I'm going to let you decide which one we're going to use. Okay, so this reminds me of when I was younger, stenciling on walls was very popular. How many of you stenciled on your walls back in the 80s? Let me know. You know, so if you did, this is going to be even easier because this is a smaller surface. So I am just getting my color. Gotta reach over this way, hoping I didn't move my stencil. You could use a little bit of temporary adhesive or Post-it notes to hold this down, but I have a tendency of not doing that. Okay, are you excited to see what it looks like? Voila, look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? So that's going to be a fun background for our flowers. Now I'm going to take this piece, and we did have some Post-it notes. I do want to hold this down in 2 spots. So I'm just going to take my Post-it note, tear it in half, and it's actually going to be at a little bit of an angle because it's easier for me to do this. Let me see if I can lower this just a little bit more. There we go. I think you guys can see. There's my foot. You pull it in just a little bit. There. Is that better for all of you? Okay, so we're going to start with, I have a tendency of starting with my lightest color first. So my Mango Melody is the first color that I'm going to use. And like I said, we're going to use the flowers, and we're going to do these flowers. So I actually want these flowers at an angle. So let me move my ink pads. Now, I am also going to take a Post-it and hold down my stencil. So I'm just taking another one because I don't want it to move. Like I said, I have it at an angle, kind of kitty corner here. I'm going to attach that right down there. Okay, now I am going to do these flowers different colors. Okay, so you guys get to see how that is done very easily. I also want to cover up this little bit of cardstock showing there through that stencil. So I do that just by taking a Post-it note, and then I am just going to put one right along here underneath that foot. Look, I already got ink on that Post-it note. There was no ink on it. I must have it on my fingers. Okay, I'm going to ink up my brushes, my blending brushes, the same exact way. Start with my Mango Melody, and ink it up, and then here. Now, I am used to it being a little bit more humid out than it is here. And I'm going to tell you, my inks do react a little bit differently. Ooh, I got that a little bit too bright, but that's okay. So when I get to the center part here, I'm actually going to brush my ink towards the flower. And it's okay if you get some ink in some of your other flowers. I'm using colors that will go together. I am next going to take my Gorgeous Grape and just ink up my Gorgeous Grape a little bit, and let's do this flower right down here, Gorgeous Grape. And you can tell I'm getting a little bit of ink into my other flowers, and that's okay because flowers are very colors, and I'm not worrying about that. So I'm brushing away from the flowers again. Now I do want the small flower on the other side, also Gorgeous Grape. So we're going to just brush in one direction away from those flowers. And you will notice that I'm going to have some areas that are a little bit darker than other areas, and that's okay. My final color for my flowers is, what did I pick? Polished Pink. Forgot what I brought with. So we're going to ink that up, and that's going to be our last flower. Okay, so we're getting our base colors down. Okay, so we have that. You're anxious to see what it looks like? I'm going to remove my Post-it notes. I'm not going to remove it off the basic white. I'm just going to lift this one up here, and voila. Isn't it gorgeous? But wait, we are not done. Remember I said we get to layer? So we're going to layer this one, and we're going to match it up. And hang on a second. When I match this one up, I'm going to have to move my paper just because my stand is in the way. So we're going to match this up. So this is going to have to be attached about here. I'm going to get that on there. Then I'm going to line this up. Now, get my Post-it notes, and let's line this up over the flowers. And so I'm lining these up and these, but it's easiest if you just line these two flowers up. Everything else falls into place. So let's, okay, now that I said that, it's a little bit harder when you have this stand here. Okay, lining those up. My stand's kind of getting in the way, and that's why I'm having a little problem. I'll lift my stand up. There we go. Okay, I'm going to secure down this stencil, and once again, if there is any openings, I want to cover that up so I don't get ink on there. I am going to use the same exact colors now, you guys. I'm going to start with the Mango Melody. And normally in the past, I have told you that when you stencil, you start with the lightest color, but you're going to see that you don't have to start with that lightest color. So I'm doing the Mango Melody over the Polished Pink. And what you're going to see when this is all done is gorgeous. Now, once again, don't forget when you pick your colors out, I'm going to take my pink, my polished pink, and I am going to go over this little flower right here. You want to pick flowers that will blend together and look good together. Otherwise, you're going to get something that looks kind of muddy. So you do need to be a little bit aware of the colors. I'm also using the polished pink over here. So we're using the polished pink on the Mango Melody and on one of the Gorgeous Grapes. On the other Gorgeous Grape, I am going to take Gorgeous Grape and go over it. And what you're going to see, let me put this over here, is in those areas, it's going to turn darker. So even though we're using the same color, you're going to see this pattern because it's darker. Okay, are you guys ready? Okay. Lift all these up, and we're not even done. Oh no, I got some ink here. That's okay. We are going to make it look like it's supposed to. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Even though we have some of the other colors, it blends. So I'm going to do something with that. I'm actually going to do a couple other areas like that because there is no mistakes in stamping, right? Got to do it kind of dark. We did it kind of dark over there. We're going to do one there. Let's do a little spot right over here. How many of you were panicking when you saw that? You know what? It's all okay, you guys. So that's fine. Okay, so we've got that, but I want to do some leaves. So you can take this stencil here and match up some of these leaves. And they do have curves, so what you want to do, we want this back up here. We are going to, I'm just going to do some of these longer leaves. I'm going to line it up to the flower. Okay, I do want to cover this up here so that I don't get any of that on. And I'm actually using Coastal Cabana. I'm not going to use a green. How many of you would even think of using blue? Now, if this will work because our card base and our other stencil is Coastal Cabana. And you guys are going to be surprised to see how it does work, even though it's not a green. Okay, let me get this. We're going to go ahead and ink this up. You know, I've got some samples in the end to show you that I was playing with this a little bit earlier today. So I want to show you some of those samples that I got too. So we have those. Let's put, we'll put another one over here. So it barely touches that pink on the end there. But I was playing with these, and you know, this is something that you guys will be able to take out and play with a whole lot, believe me. Okay, I want two more, but that's not going to work here. Hang on. Let's take this one right here. I want to make sure that it's not quite over that other flower. I'm butting up right next to it. Now, I do have to be careful. Did you guys see this? I have some white showing there. So I do want to cover that white up. Normally what I would do is I would not cut my paper all the way down, and I would cut it after the fact, but Judy forgot her paper trimmer. So that's not an option here. So we just go with it. Go with the flow. Okay, I need one more leaf because we have 4 leaves and I don't do anything in even numbers. So we're just going to put a partial leaf right over here. Just lining up that curve to the flower. And let's just get a little, and it's only going to be a little bit. It's going right off the edge. So there we go. Okay, I do have my scissors. I am going to snip this bottom off just a little bit. Oh, you know what? I could have tore it even. just because I got a little bit of blue on there, a Coastal Cabana. Okay, let me move my ink pads out of the way and my other stuff, all of this. So we have that. So we're going to put together a card. And this is where you guys can decide. I'm going to show you my samples. So I was playing earlier. This is my first sample with the flowers, just playing around. This was with that background stencil. Here's that same background stencil, you guys, and it's multicolored instead of all Coastal Cabana. So how this is going to go is this is going to go on the front, and the flowers are going to go over the top like this. So do you like, and both of them are going to look great. So we have that, or we can do it multicolor. Which one do you like best? I know which one I like, but I'm not going to tell you. While you guys are telling me that, I'm going to show you the Coastal Cabana one again, so you can decide. I'm going to go on like that. Okay, I'm going to put those to the side. We're going to grab our little piece of basic white, our Memento ink, and we're going to stamp my friend. We're going to stamp that right here, right on here, just like that. And let's hope it's straight. Ooh, yeah, it's straight, but I kind of goobered it up. Let's try the other side. 2 sides to every piece of paper. It's my friend. There we go. Oh, and that's the words. Okay, so we have that. Then we have the inside of our card. And we can do a little stenciling on the inside of our card while you guys are deciding which one we're going to use. And I am just going to take one of these other flowers, this one right here, and I am just going to stencil that on here. And I'm just going to do a single layer, and I'm just going to do it in the Mango Melody because that's what I have handy here. And let's just go right around like that. So the inside of the card will have a flower also. Kind of cute, huh? Okay, so let's see what you guys decide. Well, I haven't gotten, so I've got Coastal Cabana, and I am not seeing other comments, although I'm sure you guys are commenting. So we're going to do Coastal Cabana. Thank you so much, Christine. Now, before we do that, I want to show you some of the other stencils, what they look like. So this is the floral one. Isn't that cool with the daisies? And what I did with this is I took my blender brush and I kind of followed the lines, and then I just went down the next line and then the next line. I didn't even mask it off at all. I just had the stencil and just ran my blending brush there. And then here's the butterflies. Now with these butterflies, this one is the Mango Melody background with Granny Apple Green. And then I use my Real Red Stampin' Blend for the dots. So you can use your markers with this and for the body. And I wanted to show you doing it the opposite way. So I used the Granny Apple Green on the background on this one. And I put Mango Melody on top and still used my dark Real Red Stampin' Blend. But see how you can do both ways. It just depends on how dark you do your ink. So it just gives you guys a couple of ideas. So we have Coastal Cabana is the choice. So we're going to go ahead and take our Stampin' Seal and put on our Coastal Cabana background. Thank you so much, Christine, for giving me your input. Now, if I had brought more basic black or even basic black ribbon or some embellishments, we could have used that on here, but I didn't. So we're just going to put this on here. So it's going to be a little bit softer. I did want the words to stand out, so that's why I did the Memento ink and just a little bit of black. I've always, my mother always told me that in a room you need a little bit of black, a touch of black to ground your room, just to every single room, no matter what color. you had in there. And we're just going to put this right here straight, just like that. Okay, so that was my touch of black. So I hope you guys enjoyed this evening and learning how to use these stencils, and take a look at the stencils that you have in your stash, in your supplies, because you could use any stencils for the background, and sometimes you can even layer stencils on top of one another. I think that we could possibly combine this one with this little half doily one somehow, going over the top of it and making it look different. I'm still playing with it, so let me play with it a little bit longer and then we'll do this again, okay? So until next time, everybody, happy stamping!